Okay, so we're gonna kind of do two, if not maybe three different shading variants today, friends. For the skin, we're gonna do a side diagonal hatch because it's smooth. It shouldn't have that much texture, right? It's the underbelly. It's the part that's like super, super vulnerable on our little guy. This can be done with ink pen. This can be done with pencil. You decide. But whatever you do decide, we are going to go light. So if you're using Micron pen or a Secura pen, go with your lighter numbers, like a 005 or like a 01. Not much more than that. Regardless of what you're using, you're going to hold your pen backwards like this on the edge because this will force you to go light. Let's do a side diagonal hatch here using not our hand but our wrist to kind of shade this in here. Leave some of that white peeping through your skin, okay? That the little white through your lines is really going to help lighten up your shading here. You don't want this super dark. You want his skin to contrast. And it's going to feel dark. It's going to feel dark right now because you don't have any shading inside your fur yet or your spines. But we're going to fix that here in a minute. So just do a side diagonal hatch all the way inside your weird little heart section here. My pen is being super finicky. It's not wanting the listener to draw, and it's gathering. So if you're having that issue, switch out to a different pen. Now, while you guys are finishing that up, you can tell that the arms and the legs are a little bit darker, right? So we're going to add 2 layers to that area. And feel free to move your pen with the way the body moves. Doesn't have to be a side diagonal hatch for this, but if you feel more comfortable with it being that, then stick with it. Same positioning here, same positioning. Add an additional layer to your eyes and to your cheeks. And your nose. Anywhere where there's not that soft tan. So I added some to my tummy too. That's okay. So 2 layers for anything inside the tan part of your body that's not tan. Feel free to go hardcore on those eyeballs. Feel free to go hardcore. So adjust your hand to a regular writing utensil and feel free to go hardcore on those eyes. Let me know when you got your secondary layers in. Beauteous. All right. So we called this the side diagonal hatch because you're going in a diagonal and it's hatch markings. Now we are going to kind of do a broken line shading technique. I'm not sure if I think we've done it with the moose last week. We're going to keep going with that. Move your pen and feel free to have your pen held halfway down. Because this is a darker color. That's okay. And we're literally just going to make a bunch of broken lines that are slightly curved that mimic the movement of our hair. Super important when you're drawing things to kind of move with what you're drawing. If you want it to look more realistic, line does not go all in one solid straight way. It's constantly moving. It's playing with light. It's adjusting. Some areas it thickens, some areas it gets thin, so don't be too anal retentive about the line looking a certain way. Just keep moving it around. I want you to go around the body here at least 3 separate times. Tighten that space in between your lines each time. You want a little bit of that white to peep through, but you really don't want a lot of it to kind of, come through here. We want to make some contrast here with our little dude. You might need 4 layers. I don't know yet. This is my 3rd, I think. Okay, so if you're using micron pen in this area, feel free to kind of, your first layer, maybe go with a lighter number, and then with your second layer, feel free to bump up to, like, I don't know, like a 1 or a 0.8 or something like that. It'll really get you darker quicker if you're aiming for some darkness here. I want little pads in my foot. Feel free to add little pads if you want little pads in your foot. I personally like a really bold flare to these kind of little pieces here. So I'm going to use Sharpie. If you have colored Sharpie you want to use, you can do that. If you want to shade them in with pencil, you can do that too, if you did something similar to what I did. And I think I'm going to make these into little hearts instead of little circles, because I just think it just sounds really cute. I'm giving a chance for my ink to dry. I'm working on other areas of my artwork because I'm going to show you guys how to double check, if you're using ink, how to double check your artwork to make sure that you don't need to do any fine tuning. If you need to do fine tuning, that's fine. Super easy fix. Not that big of a deal. Some of you are using ink, some of you are using pencil. So the fine tuning part for pencil, instead of doing the erasing that I'm going to mention here in a few minutes, you're just going to see where things look disconnected. Squint your eyes a bit. If there's not like a gradual shift from light to dark, if it's like super quick from light to dark, then you might have to add an additional layer of pencil. So just heads up on that. Let me finish this piece here. Oh, super cute. Now I put a piece of paper underneath. So if I have any ink bleeding through, because we all know how Sharpie likes to go, it won't go on my next page of my notebook. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, fine tuning. Fine tuning. You want to do this when your ink is dry. You shouldn't have any ink coming up onto your hand. I got some still coming up. So erase your pencil line if you have ink. If you don't have ink and you plan on doing pencil, just wait until I'm done erasing my pencil line so I can show you what's going on here. Because you'll see it. This step differs just a little bit, just a teensy weensy bit when it comes to ink versus pencil. It's not that much of a difference, though. Okay. Okay. You see how my ears kind of disappeared after I took away that extra pencil line? Now, if you're working with ink, over time your pencil will fade, just like ink fades. And then let's say you look back at this artwork, I don't know, a couple years later, and you're like, dude, I thought I did a better job than this. It's because your pencil's fading or it smudges away and it leaves an unfinished look. So just add some more shadow around this area and your ear will come right back.